All right, it says we're live. Hey, it's Tim. Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. We're trying some new technical difficulties, getting through some stuff. Hopefully, this is coming through live. I will give a shout out to my friend David Boyd, Alternate Nation. Him and I sat around for a while today and really went through all the mics and went through all the stuff. And hopefully, this is coming through without any problems. All right, it says we're live. Hey, it's Tim. Pickup Truck. Oh, look at that. Trying some new tech. Yeah, so I could hear that now. I can hear it. It comes through. It comes through. There it is. So I muted the live stream, but it sounds like things are going well. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put a comment below, but I believe we're on the screen.
I definitely see us on the screen.
Yep.
My question is, do they hear the white noise that we hear? Because we're hearing like some white noise in the background. So I would just be curious if they're hearing it.
Okay. Yeah. Comment below if you hear any white noise. The last thing we're trying to work on, and I'm adjusting Jill's volume because everybody needs to hear Jill. And so that, I mean, that clearly is what needs to happen. Yeah. Okay. So so far so good. So we get some good comments here. So I can hear the stuff.
Okay.
I'm on my personal YouTube channel, which you guys can subscribe to if you want to, but that's what pulled up. I had to clear the browser cache, which has really been a damn nightmare. Do you ever like get used to your browser opening up certain pages just perfectly, and then you clear the cache because media@ford.com was not loading right, and now I have all sorts of problems.
By the way, they can hear it too.
A high-pitched sound. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the white noise, but I don't know. We'll have to talk a lot and fill in the white noise. How's that?
All right. Yeah. So here's a question for you. You say cache. Is it cache or cache or cache?
Oh goodness.
You know, I would say cache. Jonathan would say cache, and you just said cache.
I feel like that's a loaded question. I actually don't know. I mean, it's like how I say hybrid. Like, do I say hybrid or do I say hybrid? I'm moving my cameras around here for a second. Hold on, folks. How do you say hybrid? Hybrid? Cache?
Okay. Hybrid.
Cache?
It's hybrid.
Hybrid.
No, you say hybrid.
Yeah, but I was talking to a guy once who was like, we were talking about Nissan, and he was like, it's Nissan. And yeah, there are people that say Nissan, and I'm like, what the heck? I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
My British friends say Nissan.
Yes, yeah, it's completely different. So
yeah,
it could be, I don't know, it could be a variety of things. All right, so let's. We had a little white noise. I'm sorry for that, but everything else is better. Audio is better. We can see Jill and hear Jill, which is no nastygrams later. So that's gonna be fantastic. So then we need to dig into the topic at hand. Oh, I can see. Oh, here we go. I can close this window because I can see the chat in my window. This is Streamlabs OBS stuff, man. These guys know what they're doing. Jill has no idea. She's never seen the background of this stuff, but yeah. So we have to hybrid. Just say Prius, right? Let's talk about this. This is the elephant in the room. I don't know if it. Jill, is this on your screen yet? That's why I need that YouTube window open, because I need to make sure that you can see the stuff I'm putting up there. All right.
No, it is not there yet.
What do you mean it's not there yet?
Oh, now it's there.
It's there.
It just popped up. Okay,
So,
yes, I've seen it before. Go ahead.
It's like an 8-second delay, so I'm gonna load this up and make sure it happens. But yeah, so that is the elephant in the room currently, right? I mean, that is, everybody wants to talk about this design, and Jill and I saw a red version of this in Texas.
Was it red or was it orange?
I don't know. I really don't know. The room was dark and all sorts of stuff going on.
I'm just going to be contrary tonight. I'm going to say it was orange. You're going to say it's red.
There's a question about, so Elliot's spot on because he thinks it's stretched. So we will, you know what? It's right here. I will go like this. I got to do. I just got to go. I don't know. I don't know why it's stretched, but let's go with this right now. Let's stop
I
playing
don't know
with
that
this.
looks stretched.
Yeah, I don't know. It may not look that stretch. Yeah. So this is the biggest news going on right now. This design. Jill, your first impressions when you saw this were?
It's very big. I I literally, like, I stood next to the grill. Like, it is way bigger than what you think it is. It, like, the hood is taller than my head.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and so for those who are watching on or doing a podcast, we're showing the picture of the latest 2022 Toyota Tundra. This is the Tundra TRD Pro they put out. It's white, and so a little hard tonight because I have some photos to share, so I'm gonna try to narrate the best I can. But this was the big guy in the room, and people want me to keep talking about all this kind of stuff, and it's like, okay. So that people are like, well, we got to report on this. And I'm like, well, they told us not to report on anything. And then I got back thinking, I'm like, there's nothing to report. We saw a big fiberglass version of this. You can't stand on it. There's no interiors, no engines, no transmission, no pricing. There's nothing to report. And I was like, yeah, this is just kind of, all right. So there was that, and then the interior photos came out, but I did want to
photo, not the photo.
Photo, yes, photo. So let's I can make this work. So there is the photo, and a few things. The version I saw that came out when I did my video did not have as wide as this was, and so this is a little bit wider. So we have the driver's side grab handle is back, thank the Lord. And we're having the JBL speaker, which Jill picked up. So this is the interior photo they released. Jill and I are both thinking that this is the next generation of infotainment screen, like the one in the Lexus NX, right?
Yep.
And then there's some conversation about the rearview mirror, whether that's going to be a rearview camera or just a basic mirror. And I think it's got to be a camera. They're doing that in the RAV4 Prime, I believe. And I know they have technology to do it. And I think it's a lot better when you have that camera back there instead of the option. You flip the switch, you can do the rearview mirror or the rearview camera.
It was in the Sienna that I just had. So I think all higher end top trim models of Toyotas are going to have that. And my theory is the reason why it's blanked out is because that's what it is, that they have it on. So like it's not reflecting. It's, the camera's at a weird angle, so you can't see what the digital image is on there. And when you look at the screen also, I think it's actually in Apple CarPlay, and that's the top of what you're seeing, which is part of the reason why I think it's going to have that Inform. Is it Inform?
Yeah,
not Inform. The new media system, multimedia system.
I don't recall what Lexus called that, actually. I don't recall.
Interface. I think they called it Interface.
Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't anything that
was it.
Yeah, new name. So I agree, and I theorize it's going to stick out like the Highlander and RAV4 do, where it's not blended in a dash. And they do that and it goes a little bit higher. That way you avoid some of the driver distractions. So the question was from Timothy is it bigger than the 2021 Ford Super Duty? No. It's bigger than the current TRD Pro, but it's not as big as the Super Duty is. So I mean, so that's the interior there. So we have and here's the thing that's really pissing people off. We have like 6 more gray boxes on the Toyota website, meaning 6 more teaser images are coming. So that's what's coming. It's like a treasure hunt. Like all these little pieces come out. You guys follow this along. So that's what's happening on that.
Are you seeing the gray boxes? Like, because I looked and I didn't see what you were talking about.
Yeah. So maybe I can make this work. Hold on. I'm getting like tech
He's
savvy.
He's gonna cut
here.
Everything off and the world's gonna end.
No, I am. I'm getting tech savvy here. There's a thing for future vehicles on Toyota. I think it was Toyota.com, right? So you can click on.
Would it be Press Room Toyota, or is it on the consumer site?
I think I can go to. I think I can get to it from Press Room. So I'm going to go to Press Room, and I'm going to go click on the Adventure in the Horizon, and I'm going to go here, and then here's what you know what. I wonder if I can show this. So I'm getting super fancy tonight, guys. I'm getting super fancy. Window capture, add source, and we're going to go.
So is it future vehicles or where?
Hold on. I got it.
But I want to find it myself.
I got it fired up here. I got it fired up, and I got to go. Okay, so I can't believe it. I got it to work. So I'm on upcoming vehicles. Sorry, this is what's gonna be. You see you guys in the background. Toyota.com/upcoming vehicles. There's a Tundra, right? Joe's gonna see this in about 4 more seconds because of the lag. So as I scroll down, can you see it now, Joe?
No.
All right.
Okay, wait, there it is. All right. Local specials?
No, look along the top. Toyota.com/upcoming hyphen vehicles Ford, what is it? Ford dash Tundra.
Okay.
As you scroll down on this page, you will see these gray boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have
Okay.
5. We don't have 6. We have 5. 5. I'm sorry. So you get 5 more boxes. So we have the Max, which is the hybrid engine. We have the new exterior. We have the interior. We have 5 more images coming. So
Got it. Okay, so now it's finally scrolled up enough that I could see it. Got it.
All
Okay.
right. All right. So that's what we have there. So that's if you go there and you sign up for the updates. There you go. You can hear Jill very low. Jill's actually pretty high there. Juan, I have her turned up. Trust me. All right. So I was yeah, the vents in the hood. The vents in the hood are gonna be for turbo, probably would be my guess. So I'm on all these different Facebook groups for Tundra and Silverado and F-150, and I mean I subscribed to all of them, and a lot of these guys had some fun with this, and so I wanted to show. This is Joe's gonna see this, but I'm gonna keep track of this, so I'm gonna look at my other image here, but I'm gonna pull this up. So we're gonna look at the original Tundra again, the original Tundra image, and I'm just moving that around a little bit. So this is the original Tundra, and this darn 8-second delay just causes us some problems. And I want to make sure that she can see this.
Okay, I have to say I like Mike's comment that this is almost as irritating as a gender reveal party.
Yes. Yeah, I mean you guys have to wait for a while, but so this is the original, right? And then somebody I'm going to turn that off. And then somebody decided, let's have some fun with it. So they went with this image, which is just hilarious. It is. I'm gonna let Jill see it here in about 5, 4, 3.
8 seconds.
Right. There's this 8-second delay. I'd like to get rid of this delay because it makes things a lot more entertaining. But it'll pop on. Trust me, on your screen. You guys will like this image.
Yeah. Okay. I see it.
Okay. So this is the off-road version of the monster truck version of this thing. I can see the screen. There it is. So it goes on the screen. There is the monster truck version. And then they had fun also with taking the monster truck here, and you guys will see it in a little bit. Monster truck off the off-road and driving around the countryside, which I thought was pretty funny. Hilarious look. The bumper's a little bit different. We'll get to that in a minute. I didn't look at this.
So who's doing these?
Just some bored people with Photoshop.
Bored people with Photoshop, so it could be any one of us.
Right. You know, I actually the Tundra mod number 5 is mine, and I will show this. There it is. So that goes on the screen there. So then if you get rid of that one and you go with this guy. Now, this guy I thought was actually pretty badass. I think this guy is pretty amazing, and what it is a army kind of version of the Tundra. They got some new wheels on there. They have like a green lunar rock. They got Icon vehicle dynamics, which means kind of like maybe some change of suspension going on. You got a new bumper with some lights in the front, and you got some lights on the side, and it pops on the screen. So they have an American flag below the mirror. You got a bunch of stuff on the bed, so like a outdoor camping rig. It's meant for like the overlanding version of this truck. So Jill, your thoughts here? Your thoughts here on this one?
Okay, this one looks like the most realistic.
Yeah, this
iteration. I could see Toyota doing something like this, frankly.
Yeah, I mean this looks pretty badass. I actually like this one quite a bit, and this is a Photoshop mod. So let's go with this next one, and I'm gonna let this sit and marinate for a second as it goes live, because what we have. We have is a very unique, different look in this. This is going to be the lowrider version of the Toyota Tundra. Somebody actually gone through and put the bigger wheels on it and has lowered it down to the ground.
So we should be playing that.
Exactly.
Low.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
It's the lowrider version, which I just saw it popped on the screen. So the lowrider version, I'm not sure I'm exactly in love with that. It is rather interesting. And so then the last one was my modification. And before I get this modification, I actually saw this online. I really liked it, and then I couldn't find it again, so I actually had to do it myself. So this is my handiwork with the with Tundra, and this is modified number 5. And this is a very subtle change. I'm just gonna give a few seconds here. She's gonna pull up here on the screen, and I have the YouTube open so I can see the images. So come on, let's go. Lowrider is dumb. Juan does not like lowriders. Yeah, so there's you need a drink. I have a drink. You can snowplow the lowrider. You can really. Rick says you can snowplow the lowrider. I'm not so convinced. So this is my version. I actually saw this, and so Jill, you can see it on the screen. There are two noticeable changes on this one, and I don't think I can flip back and forth that fast to show you the differences. But if you look at the lights, basically you cut the teardrop off and just make it a normal headlight, and then the lower bumper you color match with the body side panels. And I will say this, I think, and I'll flip back and forth here, and you guys can see it on the screen. It'll take Jill in a few seconds to get on the page, but when I go back and forth here between these two, I got to tell you what, I like it different. I like it better. That's my issue with the Trail Boss has always been a Chevy Silverado Trail Boss, is that the grill like drops off to nothing. It's like Oblivion World. It doesn't, I don't like that black on without the grill going anywhere. It just doesn't look like anything. It looks like it's unfinished. And so
I like it. I like the other one better. I don't like yours.
You don't like mine. You don't like this one at all. You
No.
like the other one better. You like those teardrop headlights, and you like
I do.
the black down below the bumper.
Yep.
Okay.
To me, that looks more rugged. Now, I could see them with like the base truck getting rid of that, but to me, like that says I'm going off road, and I'm gonna get some stuff dirty, and I don't want to worry about paint.
Oh, so that's that. Okay, all right. I can give you that idea. I could be with that idea. It just looks unfinished to me. It looks like it's just I would.
I like it.
That's what I was thinking though. I would think that the limited trim or the SR5 would have like a color matched bumper, and I think you can see that color matched bumper. So that's what I guess I'm holding out hope for. I guess I saw the Tundra TRD Pro, and I saw it in person, and then I saw the image, and the image they put out was kind of a bad angle. It's not, the windshield isn't that small. It's actually very
Well, it was like a picture of a picture, wasn't it? Like it looked like they were taking the picture on their computer screen or something.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like that as much in person. It's more proportionate. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't deal with that. Will it come in a 6-seater? We don't know, Ben. We have no idea. We don't know if it's going to come in different bed lengths. We don't know if it's going to come in different engines. There's lots of theories right now. Is that there won't be a V8. There won't be the V6 hybrid, and there'll be. Well, that's the weird part, right? So this is the really bizarre part to me, is people keep saying it's going to become with a hybrid turbocharged V6. That's going to be one engine option. It's going to blow you away because it's going to have 500 and some pound-feet of torque, 400 horsepower. It's going to be the same power boost. It's like I have it outside, right? And there'll be another engine choice. But nobody's like talking about the engine choice. You're saying, oh, it's going to be another V6. Well, why would you offer two V6s? I'm confused by that one. Like, the Toyota does not do a lot with fleet sales, so they don't need another small displacement V6, naturally aspirated, because that's what fleets buy, and they would just buy the hybrid anyways. So I'm very confused what this second powertrain is supposed to be, if it's not going to be a diesel and it's not going to be a V8. So let's say you believe all the hype. Let's say you believe it's not going to be a V8. It's not going to have a diesel. That's all gone. We're going down the road. We're not going to have V8.5 tons anymore because that's what's going to happen. But where's the other engine choice going to be? That's been my kind of confusion. It's like I don't understand where the engine choice is going to be and what's going to be. Jill's like, I don't know. I'm nothing out of that.
I will say, I was looking at our real-time analytics today, and we have had, like in the last couple of days, a lot of people looking at that old Tundra diesel story that you did.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the story, I don't think I did a video on it, but there is a patent that Toyota engineers applied for, and this was for what seems to be a diesel without glow plugs. That's what it seems to be, but it could be a gasoline weird version too. I talked to a couple engineers at rival companies and sent them the paperwork, and they got back to me and with their theories. Everybody's got a theory on this, and so I wrote a story up because it's an interesting theory. Actually, I think I involved another writer to help me out with that story.
You
And
did.
yeah, I think Greg helped me out with that story. And so
Hmm.
Greg and I worked together on it. I called a couple rival engineers who work in Powertrain. They were discussing it with me because Toyota won't comment on it. But, you know, what I've learned is other people will comment if they don't work for that company. So I made some phone calls. I got some people on the phone, non-quoted. And that's what we kind of have is we have that idea. Now, if they could do a decent, the other thing too is if they go without the glow plugs, and they go without, I'm saying glow plugs. It's been a while since I read the story, but it was something else about that. They could get rid of some of the emissions equipment with that diesel because it would run, the design would run a lot cleaner. So if you want to talk about Bob Carter's comments about the new engine will blow you away, well, if they come out with a diesel that has less emissions, that gets better fuel economy, and it's like a diesel of old, that used to be just a really torqued monster for the Apollo emission stuff on there, that'd be a beast. And there was some conversation that Greg and I were having, another engineer and I having, that the diesel that they were talking about would not have to use DEF either. And so, I mean, that's a game changer because, you know, the reality of things is as much as people want to worry about tailpipe emissions and how much tailpipe emissions, all this stuff, diesels burn pretty clean. They have almost near zero emission diesels that get really good fuel economy. So it's like, to me, it's like a perfect storm. Like better fuel economy, burns cleaner. Why not? But yeah, the cost has been kind of an issue with that. So I don't know. It's just gonna be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Dun dun dun. Yeah. So there's some news on that. There's always Tundra diesel's always been around for a long time. People want. At the end of the day, people want Toyota to build more capacity, more Tundras, more options, heavy duty and diesels. And I have talked to Mike Spears about this. I actually was pulling up an old interview I did with him in Japan. Heavy duty is not going to happen. Not going to happen. There's just the market's too tight. It's too brand loyal. It's just not going to happen. But diesels are always a question. I don't. I go back and forth. I have some days I think it's not going to happen. Some days I think, maybe today I have some different thoughts on this, and it will happen because Toyota has gotten rid of diesels in passenger cars in Europe because of their green stance towards the environment in the world, which is fine. Great, corporations take stands, but I don't know. It would be interesting to have them have a game changer that would actually be a truly game changer. People want to go back to 2007 when Toyota shocked the automotive world with new Tundra, and say let's bring that back. And I watched a lot of old movies, and that stuff's not coming back. Yeah.
Like the old movies are not coming back.
Yes, even though when they remake them, it's not the same, Jill. It's not the same.
Well, so my husband and I often, completely tangenting here, by the way, but my husband and I often have the discussion about the one movie that I think that will never ever, actually there's probably a couple of them that will never ever be able to be remade. Mm-hmm. And I'm completely blanking on the name now.
What? You have this huge lead up and intro.
I did, but it's Mel Brooks, and it's the one with the sheriff and the black sheriff who comes to town, and they
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, that one. I'm like, they will never be able to remake that movie. So as cool as some of that old stuff is in terms of cars and stuff, you can't remake it. That was the point I was trying to make. Just like Blazing Saddles will never be able to be made again.
Well, the problem with Blazing Saddles is if you go back and watch it, it is so not PC.
Oh, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Close. It's like you can't make jokes about that. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
No. Let's finish off on Tundra and move on to something else. But Doug wants to know, so do you think Tundra will be available for the end of the year? I am told from Toyota that they will be on dealership lots in December. And when I asked them if... I point blank said to him, I said, hey, I have got to buy the Tundra this year because it's the newest truck. That's kind of my thing. Newest truck. It's got all new features to it, so I'm going to buy the newest truck for the channel. It makes total sense, right? The Power Boost I bought was great for the channel. Worked out great. So it's like, how do I want to buy the same, the newest, latest, greatest kind of deal. And I talked to him about that, and I did not get a heartwarming yes. I didn't get it'll be no problem. I got We think so. So, will you guys see videos in December of me, him on about a new truck to buy? That I pretty much damn well could guarantee it. I think that's going to absolutely happen because I'm going to have to another. I'm going to have another real problem because unless things change, and I will be pulling every string I know to get a truck by December because I want a new one. I need a new one, and so yeah. So now. I'm sorry, but for a lot of other people to get a new Tundra and buy it dealership lots at a good price with incentives and stuff by December, no. Those are going to be full price. They're going to be the full price. There'll be TRD Pros, limited platinums. There'll be crew cabs. There won't be any option. You're just going to have to buy whatever they have by year end. You're just going to be stuck with what they have. It won't be until, oh goodness, you probably won't be until spring until you can get some, deals on a Toyota and get a Tundra and get something you want as far as specific specs and things. So, that's to answer that question. So let's move along. Jill and I have conversations a lot online, and what I love about Jill is that Jill is not afraid to back down from argument, and Jill will fight me tooth and nail.
Oh, wait, no. You said I'm not afraid to back down. I'm not afraid to not back down.
She's not afraid to not back down, but she also puts up a hell of a fight. And so we've had these back and forths on different things, and we want to know from you guys. I did a video yesterday, and we did a story on the Ford Lightning. So if you guys don't know, Ford, it's been confirmed now by two sources. Ford emailed a chart out to reservation holders on Lightning to say, would you buy this truck with these trims, these prices? They're just kind of gauging interest at this point. That's what they're trying to do. And so they gauged interest with this. And so I said, okay, well, we got to run that story, right? I mean, the pricing, we have, initial non-confirmed pricing. It's interesting. Let's give that a shot. And then I said, Jill, we have to compare that to Tesla Cybertruck. To which Jill responded,
no.
That's all you had? That long pause was for a no? You had more opinions.
I know. I thought you were gonna chime in with my
No,
opinions.
I am not. I'm not putting words in your mouth here.
I thought it was a stupid story, and I don't think that the people who are going to buy a Lightning or who are shopping a Lightning are going to be shopping a Cybertruck, which, by the way, it may not even ever exist. Like in my article, I call it vaporware. Right now, it's just like in the ether someplace that may or may not be created. And I hate the idea of comparing something that is definitely going to be built to something that may never be built. Okay. And I know the Teslarati out there, like, it's going to be built, but like, seriously, really? Is it? Like, I don't even think it meets safety standards. And you're going to have to put side mirrors on, and there's like the lighting issues. Like there are things that have to be fixed, and we haven't even seen like the next iteration of what is going to be coming for that vehicle. And so I wrote the story under duress and was very clear about it in the story, trying to make my boss happy.
Yes, that was the exact line.
Yeah, it was. But no, I had a hard time making the comparison because I don't think the buyers are the same. I don't think the people I don't think that the vehicles are going to be cross-shopped. And I'm like 50-50 whether or not I think that the Cybertruck is even going to be built. So I don't know. And it's certainly, I don't think it's going to be built anywhere near like what it looked like on the stage when Elon Musk broke the window. So I don't know. I didn't find that comparison viable.
Okay, so that was really what she's going with. That was her true answer, not just no. That was the real answer. And so the reason why we did that story was that, you have the Teslarati, you have the Ford fans, you have basically these two Goliaths, right? So Ford has been leading the way in trucks for a long time. Depending how you do numbers, whether you want to do GM actually sells more trucks than Ford, but if you don't add the numbers together, Ford sells more trucks than GM, whatever happens. So Ford's been doing this for a long time. And you have Tesla, which is basically the biggest EV manufacturer out there, really, at this point. I mean, they've led the way in EVs, and they've built a good business. They're known for EVs. So you have these two companies that are both known for what they're going to do, that are now going to start merging into a similar marketplace. It's not the same marketplace, but you have these two people that are going to build a truck. Now, to me, it's an apples and oranges comparison, not quite an apples to kiwi comparison. Hey, you like that one? It's
Just say it's like apples to like baseballs comparison.
Okay,
but...
apples to baseballs. And the reason why I say apples to oranges is that the Cybertruck, and this somebody actually questioned me on this. The Cybertruck will be a 3/4 ton truck. It's going to be over 8,500 pounds. That's what's going to happen with that truck because Tesla's actually told the CARB board, the California Air Resource Board, it will be an 8,500 pound truck, which I believe the GMC Hummer will be an 8,500 pound truck. I mean, it's going to be a heavy duty truck, 3/4 ton. And so you're comparing a 1/2 ton, 3/4 ton, which is not fair to begin with because they're just different. But I don't think. Here's the thing that I have with EVs, call me old and whatever, get off my lawn. But what I challenge with EVs is that customer of an EV is a non-traditional customer, and I think they look at things in a very weird way because And I just get this feeling from the comments, and I'm not understanding weird is wrong. I'm not saying weird is bad. I'm not, saying EV customers are terrible people. No, I'm just saying they look at things from a very different viewpoint when they start looking at, okay, they look at, what is my range? How long to charge? What can I do with it? How do I get the charger? I mean, they're looking at things not from 8,500 pounds and max towing, whatever, looking at things from performance. Like there was a lot of conversation that the Cybertruck came out of the 0-60 time. Well, nobody I know that owns a truck gives a crap about 0-60 times. They don't. That's the last thing you want to do in a truck, right? They're like, why would I want to race my truck around? Like that's dumb. I always have stuff in the bed. I always have stuff in the cabin. If I want to race something around, I'm going to go buy a Corvette. I'm going to go Camaro. I'm going to buy a sports car. So
you're going to buy a Dodge Durango Hellcat.
Yes, exactly. You're going to buy something that you want to drive fast, but people are like, well, it's got plenty of power. Well, so you get the power boost, right? You drive the F-150, and people tell me all the time, like, "Oh, it's got plenty of power." That's the attitude. It's got the truck has plenty of power, not equaling the truck goes 0-60 in this time. Ford F-150 stock F-150, they've never published 0-60 times as far as I know. Nobody cares, but all of a sudden, people care a lot about 0-60 times. All of a sudden, they care a lot about that because Tesla made a big deal about Cybertruck. And so, I mean, there's a lot of conversation about that, which I think is pretty interesting that customers are valuing things differently. They want, and the other thing too is Cybertruck's appealing is because they want something completely different. They're sick of the standard old status quo and they want something completely different. Well, my flash for that has always been, look, if the aluminum body panels and what is it, aluminum or what are they using? The DeLorean style. If the DeLorean's car would have taken off with that stainless steel back in the 70s, every automaker would be doing that today. They're not dummies. They're not sitting around like, oh, we can't use stainless steel because we don't want to. No, they analyze everything. All of these guys do everything. So yeah, I don't understand, and Doug brings up TFL and TFL's a great channel. They've done a great job. And they have done a lot of 0-60 times, and people talk about 0-60 times. Truck guys do talk about 0-60 times. Don't get me wrong with that. They do talk about it. But you're talking about like a performance truck. You're talking about the Ram TRX. You're talking about these very niche things that not a typical guy would talk about. So I think the Cybertruck is just going to be, it's just different. It's just a different customer. And I think they're going to look at those trucks as being similar. Even though if you look at that tug of war, the Cybertruck was 1.5 times the size of the F-150. It's massive. It's huge. And so, I mean, and Elon made a case about it. Elon started comparing them right off the bat. So maybe it's his fault. And boo-boo.
I'm blaming him. But I should also point out that neither you nor I have seen the Cybertruck in person. We were not invited to the media event that they did back in 2019, I guess it was, when they revealed it. There were media there, but we were not among them. So neither of us have actually seen it. So I guess in some ways it's just really hard for me to visualize. I do agree with you that the person who's going to buy a Cybertruck is a different kind of buyer. So again, I don't think you're going to see people cross-shopping the vehicles. However, I'm going to pose to you something. And I'm going to say that if you would like to compare the Cybertruck to something from Ford, it would be the Maverick. Even though they aren't going to be like towing or hauling the same things, like to me, the Maverick is the same kind of different that the Cybertruck is.
Okay, I can see that point of view. I mean, the Maverick is completely different than what they've done in the past, and it is kind of a shock to see the Maverick and to see it. I can't wait to actually see one in person. Jill is fortunate; she's gonna go to the Hyundai Santa Cruz launch in August, and they are actually building that now. There were some photos of production in Alabama. They're actually starting to build it right. So that's again something different. So I guess if you're looking for something different right now in the truck world, guess what, folks? You're getting it because no matter where you look, they're doing different these days. Because I think they're trying to figure out I think they're trying to figure out what the customer wants. So I actually had this week I had a fairly high person at a different company ask me about the Maverick because he was confused about the Maverick, didn't understand what Ford was doing. And from my standpoint, and Jill, you can chime in on this as well. My standpoint is Ford can't sell passenger cars, and so to me, this kills the midsize sedan. So because why would you? I can see people still want a midsize sedan, no problem there. But if you're going to buy a vehicle that has the same size midsize sedan that gets the same or better fuel economy midsize sedan, and it has more utility with the bed of the truck, and it has the option of not sit down in the vehicle, actually slide across like an SUV would. I don't understand why you would go with a midsize sedan when you have that much more utility. I can see certain people are stuck in their ways, and that's the way they're going to go. But I think this is Ford's play in in trying to sell a car.
I don't want an open truck bed. I actually am one of those people that still wants a car.
So if you guys didn't hear that in the podcast, Jill shook her head and rolled her shoulders and gave me the eye roll. But you can have the open bed can be covered though and secure.
I would never do something like that in the city because again, I'm probably going to be parking it outside a lot, and I've had cars broken into, and everybody always assumes when they can't see it, there's something in there that's valuable. So even if there's nothing in there, I can just see them demolishing and destroying that cover over a period of time. And that's not something that I would, as an owner, I would want to deal with. So I want a car, I want a trunk, I want to shut it away, and I want you people to go away and leave my car alone.
But if you had the trunk closed, isn't that the same thing as having a cover on the truck bed?
I think a trunk is harder to get into than the cover on the truck bed.
You just jam the screwdriver in the key hole.
A lot of the truck covers are canvas.
Well, that's the same idea with a Jeep Wrangler. You just cut canvas. Or
Exactly.
or you leave it open so they can look in the truck and see there's nothing there.
Like, seriously, there's nothing here. There's nothing to see here.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because would you agree or disagree that the Maverick is made for consumers maybe like you who live in a, are we going with a city environment or urban for you? I forget. I know I used one that I was chastised for using one or the other.
I'd say I'm both city and urban.
Okay.
You said city, urban, whatever for the Ford Lightning, and that's what I called BS on.
Well, okay, let's dig into this a little bit. So you believe that we have a lot to unpack here, folks. Hold on for a minute. If you need to grab a drink, that's a good time to grab a drink. Popcorn, good time. Hit pause. But no, so let's discuss this. You talk about this. Let's talk about this Maverick customer. To me, the Maverick customer is you and Jonathan, right? So Jonathan rides his bike occasionally. He has golf clubs he carries. You guys go on trips to, Wisconsin, whatever, and you're carrying luggage with you. And so theoretically with a Maverick, you could carry a mountain bike plus your luggage, and you guys go for the weekend and have a mountain biking weekend. You can do that kind of stuff with that kind of vehicle. And it's small, from your understanding of it, from what you saw the photos of it, it's small enough to park in a city, right? And if you're looking at, the mile per gallon on the hybrid, they say 40, but really for your driving around town, for you driving to the gym and back, you're probably mostly in electric mode anyways. And so you could probably get more fuel out of that than the standard 40. depending on your driving needs, depending the weather and the factors involved. So variably, you have a vehicle that's easy to drive, easy to park, easy for you to drive because it's smaller. Smaller vehicles, would we agree, versus Ram TRX are easier to drive for Unicity? Right.
That would be true.
Okay, so I'm winning some truth points here. If you have a calendar, go ahead and red letter date this. I'm winning.
We'll circle back to the fuel economy in a second, but keep going.
All right, so you have utility. You guys can have your lifestyle to do your lifestyle stuff. Where you've talked about when you go running and you're done with your marathon running, how you do not keep anything in the cabin after you're done with your smelly clothes. You can throw them in the bed, no problem there, right?
Yep.
But invariably, you're saying no because you want the trunk situation, which I don't know. It seems like there are hard covers and things like that. So this is Ford's big play. Ford's big play right now is to sell you, Jill, and Jonathan, the Maverick.
They need to put a manual transmission in it. No, so I mean, okay, so a Jill and Jonathan that don't need a manual transmission. No, I mean, I think you're close to spot on there. However, back to the fuel economy thing, I will say that in Chicago, hybrid numbers are really tough. You would think that you would be in electric mode all the time, but there's literally a stop sign on every single corner, a stop sign or a stoplight. So it's stop, go, and it's not just like, oh, let me stop and then ease out of the stop sign. No suburban driving here. We're in the city, and if you don't go, bad things happen. So you're constantly turning that gasoline engine on to just come out of a stoplight, and then like you take your foot off the gas so that maybe then the hybrid engine will kick back in, and then you can moderate, but then you're stopped again. So we're going to be talking about the Toyota Sienna in a hot second, but I just drove that and I got out of it, and the combined miles per gallon in both all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive is 36 miles per gallon. I will tell you, I got better fuel economy on the highway than I did when I was in the city. And we got 32 miles per gallon when I was on the highway. And that was driving probably about 9 to 10, when I'm driving, 9 to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. When Jonathan's driving, that's a different story, and we won't even talk about that. But in the city, I dropped 2 miles per gallon. Like, I was down to like 29 as soon as I got back to Chicago. And I had 16 hours of highway driving in this vehicle to pump up the fuel economy. And within 24 hours of being back in Chicago, I was down 2 miles per gallon.
Okay. So that's,
hybrid fuel economy in the city of Chicago is a myth.
Okay. But then, if that's a myth, then the electric F-150 Lightning is the answer, right? Electric driving only.
It's too big. Okay, give me a Lightning Maverick, and then we'll have another conversation. But then we still need to talk about where in the heck do you charge this thing?
Right, because you have a garage, but but you're renting. You're renting the townhome, right, or the whatever the house
Yep.
is. So we've talked about it before. If you put it that, what is it? Can we just agree it's like at least $1,000? We just agree a charging in a garage is minimum $1,000. Depending on how much electrician wants to fleece you and how much you have run the cabling, the wiring. If you already have a 220 in your garage and you add the, adapter, that's fine. But when you're talking the F-150 Lightning, that was the situation that came up when we were discussing with Alex Dykes, is that the 300 mile range version comes with the 80 amp hookup in the garage, which means I don't know how the amps don't grow on trees, so you have to add more amps, which means you have to use a bigger size wire to run the power from your box to the. So you're adding more cost to buy that, and so if you do this in your house, you're $1,000 in, and then the was it the XLT, which kind of the medium was 53,000, right? 53, 56, somewhere in that range. I feel like So if you're going to go buy a $56,000 truck, and before you even get it home, you got to spend $1,000 before you bring it home. And then you have a 1-year lease probably. And so if you don't up that lease and keep going and you move to a new place, you have to do the same thing again. So luckily, the next guy who rents a townhome is all set.
Right.
You know, and then.
But see, that's the other part of it is like, do you have permission as a renter to add that? And it would be at my cost, not their cost. But then they're paying, potentially whatever electricity or whatever. I don't know. So the problem with putting something like that in a city is most people rent. And so when you have a place where most people rent and there isn't easily accessible, prolific charging externally, EVs are not practical in a city. I just like they're practical. They would make sense if you could charge it, but because there's not prolific charging available, it doesn't make sense.
And it's
like this catch-22.
Right, you've done the public charging aspect of it, and
I've tried.
Yeah, you're not a fan of that at all.
No.
Yeah.
No. See the previous video when I was driving the Mach-E, and you'll hear my story about having to like fight somebody for a space. But it was not my favorite.
Okay, so this is a good time to transition. You did a half marathon, by the way. Give Jill some credits. She did a half marathon in Duluth, Minnesota. You ate some amazing food. Was it? Oh yes. There is the big sign. Half of the is it Gary or Granny? Gary?
It is Gary, and it's like Bjorkland.
Yeah. Very much a Minnesota name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bjorkland, and it was from the weekend of Grandma's Marathon in Duluth, Minnesota.
Okay. So you and hubby load up into a massive minivan in Chicago, and you hit the road and you drive. It's 8 hours there, 8 hours back. Is that the deal, or 16?
Well, yeah. So it was supposed to, without traffic, it's in theory 6 hours, but with traffic and one pit stop, it turned into 8 hours.
Okay. So
then one way, and then 8 hours back.
Right. So how did it go? I put it 16 hours in Sienna. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking like 24 hours of Sebring. I was thinking about the same idea. But how did it go 16 hours in the Sienna? Now, Sienna, I don't think people know, it's hybrid only right now, right?
It is.
Yeah, it's the only option.
So it's hybrid only, front-wheel drive, standard all-wheel drive available. And I should also point out, Toyota sponsored me for the half marathon. So in addition to giving me the Sienna to drive, they gave me the entry to the half marathon. And I wasn't even thinking about doing a half marathon, but I was like, ooh, this is going to kickstart my training, and I need to get my butt back in gear. So they did that, and they provided a hotel room for me. So they really provided a great experience for me to drive from Chicago to Duluth and back to Chicago. And I paid for all the gas, but I will tell you, let's see, it was probably... Gas in Minnesota and Wisconsin is much less expensive than in Chicago. And I think I filled up 3 times, and probably it was like about $25 each time. So
you didn't fill up the entire tank though. You just topped it off.
One time I did fill up the entire tank, and that was actually probably about $35. But twice I topped it off, and then once I filled it all the way up. But okay, so back to how it was for 16 hours. It was good. It was really good. I drove out, and then my husband drove back. And because after running a half marathon, I was tired.
You were tired.
I was tired just a little bit. But I did not train very well for this. I'll be very honest with you. And so this was a wake-up call that I needed, to tell myself, by the way, you didn't train for this, and you need to like figure it out. So instead of a beverage this evening, I'm actually drinking chocolate milk with collagen peptides in it. So recovery drink. I ran 4 miles before this. So part 1 of getting my SHIT back together. But so being tired and sore, I sat in the front passenger seat and reclined a little bit and stretched out. And I will say it was very comfortable. All of the cushions are really good. And I as I'm talking with my hands and hitting my cord, sorry. I liked it, and it handled really well. I used the adaptive cruise control and played around with that. I thought it behaved really well. Like when people would cut you off in traffic, it would slow down naturally and not like jerk you to a stop. It did pretty well. And I mean, the speed limit in Wisconsin and the northern parts of like the Chicagoland area is about 70 miles an hour. So I was going around 79, 80 when I was driving, and I felt really comfortable at that speed. There wasn't a lot of wind noise. It was pretty quiet, and it was pretty smooth. So I liked it. The visibility is good. I thought it, in terms of like ride and handling and driving it, I thought I really liked it.
Okay, so I just have 2 follow-up questions for you. Number one, there's a series of minivan videos coming out as soon as I get around my butt doing them with my wife, who's reviewed a bunch of minivans. Minivans get a lot of hate from American consumers, but
Yeah.
when you spend time in one, aren't they actually pretty damn good? You kind of hate to admit it, right? You hate to admit it, but minivans, I mean, you get in and out easily. The doors open wide. You slide right in. They're comfortable. They have storage room. They have good visibility. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah. So and the thing is, I really did like the Sienna. I like the design. I would say that's probably one of the more attractive minivans out there. Honda's a little bit dated. They need to do something with their minivan. The Pacifica is fine. It doesn't look bad, but in terms of technology and probably maybe peppiness, I like the Pacifica better.
Right. So the second question after you, this actually came up Monday. Monday we had family in town from Missouri. They showed me state.
Missouri?
You know what Missouri is, right?
Missouri.
They're from Lebanon, Missouri. And they were in town, and we were sharing stories and stuff. And we were sharing stories. So I have a friend who's 6'8", I play golf with, and I have Jill, who's 5 foot, who was my editor. So we're sharing stories about the height situation. And I brought up Jill and showing some pictures of Jill in the trunk and Jill and various things. And they were having a good time looking at those photos. But then I said, Jill just ran a marathon. And I thought to myself, now, Jill, when you run a marathon versus, say, Brian Armstead, who, if he could run a marathon, Brian's what, 6'7", 6'9"? He's very.
I think he's like 6'9" at least.
Yeah, he's a very tall man. What I was curious about was how many more steps do you take versus Brian? Like, if you ran 13 miles, right? Is that the equivalent to actually like 25? What's the math here?
Here's the thing. So it's all about your turnover and how you're like moving your feet. So someone who's big is turning over their legs just as much as somebody who's small. And when you're running a marathon, it's not like a reaching stride. It's more of like you step down and push back. So it's a different kind of stride for endurance and distance running. And so, I don't think that, and I feel like my cadence is 184. And that's the same cadence as somebody like Roman Micah. I think he listens to this. He's, TFL. He's a runner. And I feel like we had this conversation at one point. We were talking about like 184 is like your perfect cadence. So he'll have a cadence of 184. I'll have a cadence of 184. And so its size doesn't really matter. I would also like to point out that what is her name? Dina Castor. She is about 5'2", 5'3", maybe. She's not very big, and she is a bronze medalist in the marathon. So clearly there are women who are much taller than she is who are also running marathons, but she was able to not only keep up, but beat most of them. So I don't think height has anything to do with it.
You don't think there's like more airflow hitting those taller guys and slowing them down?
Yeah, maybe.
Physics,
well,
right?
So
wait. Do you draft when you race?
I was gonna say, yeah. I'm like, here's the strategy as somebody who's short. Is I like very often. So I run in a group on Saturdays with marathon training. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see my photos coming up of running with a group, and I always run at the back because they block all of the wind. And, I mean, you try not to get behind somebody who's super sweaty, because when it's windy, then their sweat blows back on you.
Yes.
But no, they definitely block the wind in a really windy race. Oh, heck yes, I draft. Somebody trying to draft behind me is not going to work, but yeah, it's really easy for me to draft in a race. Yes.
Okay. All right. So and if you guys have not seen her race photos, she's the only person I know who can run a race and smile the entire time. I read a photo of her; she's smiling. And then the other one, she got photobombed. Basically, she didn't get photobombed. The photographer.
got caught.
She got caught. The photographer is taking photos of racers, and Jill is on her phone while she's running the marathon, taking photos.
Taking photos, and I was posting them to Instagram while I was running. So.
Yeah, I'm so impressed by that, because that is not something that I have run at times, but I thought it was funny because people were talking about the marathon. They're like, who did it? And they're like, obviously Jill did it. I'm like, well, obviously. I have run at times. It's not something I really enjoy at all, and my body really hurts when I'm done with it, so I don't really care for it at all. But I was really impressed to see Jill do her half marathon. So yes, kudos.
And again, by the way, this is for John. He was asking to see my medal on a comment on one of my videos. So I just, and I noticed he's on here, so I just wanted to make sure this is a medal.
Wait, hold up for one more time. If you're listening to us on the podcast, it's a silver medal, about the size of your palm. We got some gold lettering on it. Talks about the marathon. And you have a collection above your head on the left-hand side or right-hand side of are those the lanyards people wear at marathons and things?
Well, no, they're just also like when you get a medal, it's on a strap, and so those are all the medals I've gotten from different, mostly marathons that I've done, but also I did a couple of Avon walks, which was 39 miles, and then like a hustle up the Hancock, which is up running up 95 flights of stairs. I don't really like getting medals for like 5Ks. I think that's kind of silly. Because I mean, it's 3 miles, and once you've run a marathon, it's just like, I don't need a medal for that. But the one medal that I have up there that's actually pretty hilarious is I did the Corona Lisa 5K, or I think it was a 5K, or it was something. So again, I don't usually do 5Ks, but this medal was so hilarious, and it has a Mona Lisa with a mask on, and it was a virtual run because last year nobody could run.
Right.
And then the other one I have up there that's really kind of funny is it's in the shape of a actually coronavirus thing.
Right.
And it was another virtual Corona run. And I just, I think that was like I had to run 100 miles to get that. And I didn't do it all at once. Believe me, it probably took me a month to get 100 miles in. But those are the two medals that I find the most hilarious. But most of them are marathon medals.
What's it say above the sign? So I can read it says, so she did. But what's it say above that?
She believes she could.
So she did. Okay. All right. So on that positive note, of Jill running, because that's fantastic. And I shot 79 today, and I shoot some 70s golf course, so I can do cool stuff too. I have a golf tournament coming up this weekend I'm excited about as well. Anyways, moving along to things we do on our off time. There's a video coming out this week. I will do it. I have a Ford F-250 trimmer, and it literally reminds me of Jill because it is so massive. I have to get on my tippy toes to look inside the bed on the outside sides. And I took my friend who's 6'8" today. We went and played golf with it, and I drove over and said, "Hey, look! I finally have a truck that fits you." And here's the thing: the top of his head was just at the top of the door. That's how tall this truck is, and I have to do some videos on this thing because this thing is just it's fun. We went shopping this afternoon, and I did not take the truck with my wife because I had already gotten in and out of it about 6-7 times today, and I was tired. I have to do a full knee extension above my hip line to get into this stuff.
Okay, we're gonna have to have a conversation about flexibility, stretching, and strengthening exercises.
All right, yes, we'll have lots of conversations. Oh, how was the truck show? So I did this weekend. John knows, being a Cheyenne. I took the my '62 Chevy C10 Swede. I took him to the Father's Day Car Classic show here in Gearing, Nebraska. It's a pretty good show. They had like I don't know how many cars, 300-400 cars show up. I mean, it's a massive show. And I had done. You guys saw the video. Some of you guys seen it. Classic truck stuff doesn't do well in videos, but I done the clean with patina. I put the linseed oil on it, boiled linseed oil, and I think Jill, you saw the photos of this. It was looked pretty damn good, and people were stopping me and telling stories. Everybody around here has an old truck story of the farm. I mean, everybody's had this story. This is what they grew up with, and so people are sharing stories. I will say that I got done from the show. I drove in the parade. My youngest son rode with me. He had a great time waving at kids. He got mad at me because he's like, "Dad, look, there's people, wave." And so I had to follow his directions and wave at all the people I could see. And so we had a good time, and I had fun showing it off. I will say, driving the parade and then we drove to this RV park, and then we're going to drive to the park, this park and park our vehicles. That's where the show is, this amphitheater. And it was like, man, it was stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. So the following Monday, I went down and talked to the local guy I know in town, Beeline Services. You guys see more about this guy. Swede is getting a transplant. Jill's going to hate me, but Swede is not going to have manual transmission anymore. Swede's going to get automatic. Wait. I'm sorry.
Moment of silence. Okay.
The reality is I just want to get in and drive him, and he's got such short gear ratios that to go a half mile is 14 shifts, and it just gets old. I want to hop in, turn the key, and drive. And so we're going to do a new carburetor with electric fuel injection. Jill is giving her, she's doing the Etude Brute. She's giving the
stake through my heart.
Stake through
my heart.
Yes. So I will be doing an automatic transmission in it. I'm going to clean up the engine. It's going to go through the engine completely. New seals, that kind of stuff. It's going to be we're talking about a 700 R4, which is a 4-speed with an overdrive. And so that way I'll get some good, driving the highway much better. Because right now he drives like 55, 60 and he's screaming and just absolutely won't have it. And so we're going to do that improvement. So that'll be changed. I'm hopefully going to do power steering and power brakes at the same time. And that way we can get it going. It's a 410 rear gears. And I was talking about it. This guy does a lot of classic trucks. And he was like, 410... if you do the automatic, you'll be doing a lot better with that. He goes, you don't need to change rear gears out right away, but he says you won't even notice it. You'll be fine. And so, yeah, we're looking at different things. That's what he's got in top of his mind. Like I said, this guy knows classic trucks and he's a lot better at that stuff than I am. So that will be happening. It will be happening hopefully sometime soon, because I am going to sell my Ford in August. I've decided. I'm going camping in July and I'll be done. And so I want to have the Chevy ready to go between August and hopefully December when I buy a new truck. So that's my plan, is to have that as daily driver if I don't have press loans. And if I don't, and I've gotten to the point now where I've gotten kind of picky. If you deliver a press loan to my house that I don't like, I just drive my old truck anyways. I'll do a review on it later. I just drive my own stuff. I've never actually checked fuel economy. I don't really know what he gets fuel economy. I'm curious about that too. So, all right, that is all we have tonight. We've gone a little long. Thank you guys for watching. Jill has one more thing.
Juan asked a question. I just wanted to give a quick answer. He was asking what we might see in Chicago at the auto show. And they did send out a press schedule today. Mm-hmm. Yesterday. I don't know. The days are kind of blending at this point. And right now it looks like, and I said there was only one press conference in my comments, but I think there are 2 press conferences. And the first one is going to be a Jeep press conference. And then the second one is going to be a Volkswagen press conference. So I anticipate at least 2 items of news. I think it would be very interesting if Jeep showed the Wagoneer for the first time in Chicago.
Or they could have showed the Gladiator 4xe. There's talk about them doing that as well.
Yeah.
There will. I can quash this right now. There will not be a Toyota Tundra reveal in Chicago this year. Not gonna happen.
There's going to be a walk around, but of what? So like the schedule is Jeep press conference, Ram walk around, Toyota walk around, Kia walk around, Nissan walk around, Lexus walk around, Volkswagen press conference, Ford walk around. So I I don't know what that all means, but there's at least 2 bits of news that are going to be coming out of it.
Yeah. So I mean, it could be walk around the prototype, but it will not be. Tundra won't be unveiled there. So I can just tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I know that. I know that for sure. Yeah. There was one other question about 2022 Nissan Frontier. Radio science since then is semiconductor shortages. I drove one I think last fall, and just Nissan, like everybody else, had trouble building trucks, and so I did see Nissan Nation Productions, my friend Dave's old channel, did get a Nissan Frontier to test, and that's all we got. I mean, it's just it's so hard to find trucks right now. It's so hard to find stuff on dealer lots, and I think they're just Nissan's. Especially with Nissan, they're really having a hard time as a company dealing with all the stuff going on, and especially semiconductor shortage just hit them hard. So if you're looking for a new Nissan Titan, it's just gonna be patience. And hell, at this point, they might just call it 2023 and just go from there. I mean, it's just gonna take them a long time to get that going. So we're in a really weird spot. It's gonna be really weird for a while until semiconductors pick up and things get back on board. Yeah. Let's say. Programming note, no live stream next week. I'm camping in South Dakota. I am not glamping. We are in a cabin, not in a tent.
That's glamping.
I will not do tent camping ever again. I'm done tent camping. We're in a cabin.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. not glamping.
I'm not in a very. There's no like clean up my. There's no cleaning lady. There's no cooking. We're grown.
Okay. Glamping is a cabin. Are you gonna be like laying on a wood floor, or are you gonna have a mattress of some sort?
I'm gonna have an air mattress.
Yeah, that's glamping.
It is not glamping.
Are you going to be peeing into a hole in the ground, or will there be actual running plumbing somewhere nearby?
It depends. My wife is awake.
Okay, but that means there's running plumbing somewhere nearby. You're glamping.
I'm not glamping. I don't consider that glamping. Yes, this is why Jill and we have conversations online a lot. All right, anyways, that's it. Elliot has one more question. Infiniti QX60. I didn't really look at the photos yet. Did you? I haven't spent time on that. I was kind of busy today doing that stuff. So there we go.
Yeah, I saw Wendy Orthman posted on LinkedIn, but I'm apparently not on Infiniti's mailing list. I need to figure out how to get on the the automatic press releases or whatever that they send out, because I didn't even realize it was released, and I was scrolling through LinkedIn and saw Wendy Orthman, who she's like the international director of communications or something for Infiniti. She's high up on the totem pole. But yeah, I saw her post. That was how I found out that the QX60 was revealed today. I haven't looked at it yet. So
sorry, we haven't seen this. All right, so there we go. No live stream next week. Check us out at pickuptrucktalk.com on the website. Subscribe, stick around, good time, and email with questions or comment below. We will follow up the best we can. From all of us in Chicago and Nebraska, we will see you